Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with more Let's Play Skies of Arcadia, and more side quests. These are the optional ship battles. These be monsters. Alright, so there are several giant monsters. We've seen several of them as we explored the game. This is one giant squid, right near the giant squid nest discovery. Giant blue squid. Now, these fights are going to be ridiculously simple because we are well beyond the point where this would have been a challenge, just due to the equipment and accessories we have equipped on the Delphinius to boost our attack and defense. If we'd fought them when we first encountered them, they would have provided a little bit more of a challenge, but not much, really. So, this is Obispo. Obispo? This fight is actually rather easy as well. They're all easy. I don't know why I said this one is easy as well. They're all easy. This one, when you do certain amounts of damage to the squid, it starts losing legs. At set percentages, it will lose a leg. So if you do a massive amount of damage in one hit, it can lose multiple legs if it takes it down past the percentage to lose more than one leg. It has a couple of attacks, one of them being Squid Ink, and I'm pretty sure that's the only one that we actually see. Does less than 2,000 points of damage, really not a threat, and I'm not entirely sure if it gets weaker measurably when it loses limbs. It might, and I just don't notice, or it could just have, you know, a much wider area of its damage spread. Really, not a difficult fight. It's actually kind of an interesting fight because of some of the dialogue used by our heroes, Vice and Aka mostly. I don't know if Fina has any dialogue. I don't see it here, but they discuss how, you know, this thing could feed them for or one of the tentacles could feed them for a week and things like that. Which, you know, a giant monster like this, you kind of have to think, yeah, that would feed a fair bit of people. Alright, so my normal strategy of focus, 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 and then unleash all sorts of havoc. And with the armaments that I have on the ship now, I can actually stagger the attacks easier because the torpedo that I have, the moon torpedo, does give me a wider window for attack. So I can hit it with pretty much everything I've got in a single turn. And if I had Inkrammed before this, I probably would have taken it down within the first, you know, several hits. Because you see my secondary cannons do a fair bit of damage to it just right off the bat. You know, 12,000 points of damage. That's enough for it to lose 2 legs. However, we don't get the dialogue until the next turn. So, they base the dialogue off of if you've only done enough damage to remove one tentacle. But as you see here, I almost one-shotted him this turn. So yeah, I'm pretty sure if I'd been Inkrammed, that would have just been the death of it. So, that one last tentacle will not fall off. But we see that he still does Squid Ink, and the animation stays the same. It did about the same amount that it did last time, so I don't know if it actually does get weaker. But here we had the dialogue of the thing doesn't want to give up, it's losing limbs, and that thing could feed us forever. What a waste. I'm not even going to get to the Moonstone opportunity for this fight. I'm just going to do this, and that's going to be the end of it. Like, I'm not even going to bother trying to Moonstone Cannon this thing. If you do fight this early on, it's not as... It's a little easier to get by with the Moonstone Cannon prompts, but as you saw, you get 2 Moonstone Cannon prompts a turn. So, as long as you build up Spirit, if you fight this much earlier in the game, just build up Spirit, and then really 2 Moonstone Cannon shots should take it out, regardless of if you're Inkrammed or not. I'm pretty sure Moonstone Cannon would have been overkill. My question is, why does the squid catch fire? what on it allows for burning. And like any other ship battle, we get no magic experience from it, but we do get a hefty amount of experience. This will also drop an alloy deck. Our next giant monster, we saw this in the Lands of Ice. It looks like a giant flying dream catcher. And I'm pretty sure it's kind of a bug spider type thing, but we have no idea. It's very confusing, and seeing something like this in nature, I would like I don't understand. It's like it's a spider that makes a web on its own legs, or is that actually part of it? It's hard to say. And Vice, it's like, this is why I love sailing, because you find shit like this all over the place. Alright, so this fight is actually even easier than the last one. He has more attack turns where it could be critical damage, but again, at this point in the game, the damage that we're going to be taking from it is minimal. So he did twice the damage of the squid ink, but he will also take more damage. This first attack round, you will have a very, very hard time hitting him with most of your weapons, because you are on his side, giving him a very narrow attack profile. And you'll see at the end of my turn, when the next round starts, Aka will say, it's hard to hit him when he's on the side like this. We need to change angles. So you can try attacking now, but it's really going to be just a waste of spirit. I'd say just build up, focus, take the couple of hits that he's going to dish out, and not worry about it, because if you came in with full HP, it's not going to be enough to really, be of concern. So just build up a bunch of spirit, that way you can lay into him on the next turn. The next set of turns, you have the option of hitting him. You either get in front of him or get behind him. And either of those will give you a Moonstone Cannon prompt. And then, if you get behind him, you have completely clear shot. If you get in front of him, he can attack you again every other turn like he did before. And so we got behind it, and Aga's like, how can you tell? Both sides look the same. Just leave me alone, I know what I'm doing. If I say it's back, it's back! So this gives you a Moonstone Cannon prompt right off the bat, so you can just aim to do as much destructive force to it at once. And that's really it. And as you can see, I'm basically loading up for the next series of attacks, starting this round off with a Moonstone Cannon, and then at the start of the next turn, I can just use my main cannon, or my primary cannon, and that will pretty much be the death of him. I really don't think he lasted too much longer than that. As you can tell, I'm doing all of this post-commentary for the side quests, because the side quests, they take forever to do, just mostly traversing the world map. So I didn't want to bore you all with the travel details of how to get there. I do want to show off where they are. The giant monsters like this, very easy to find because they are just kind of flying around on the world map. But like for the Esperanza Maramba side quest, the back and forth did not need to be shown off. So I figured post-commentary for this. I didn't really have a script or anything to talk about with any of this. It's just, hey, kill giant monsters, get an Aubert Jam, hate life when fighting a looper. About it. And that's not the last looper that we were going to have to deal with. There's going to be one in this video. So Elcian is not the last one, unless you plan on using him extensively for leveling up. But as you can see, we hit him with our secondary cannons that I've got stacked. Start of the next turn, I'll have both my secondary cannons again, and the torpedo hitting him, and I should be able to hit him with my primary cannon. And he says he's running away. Fantastic. So, basically, I don't have enough for my primary cannon, so yeah, that sucks. I forgot that I didn't have enough. Oh well. I know this will end him regardless. It doesn't matter. He does not survive the set of turns. At least I don't think he does. I don't remember getting into the next turn on him. Into the next round, rather. Keeping tabs on turns and rounds in games has always been rather difficult. Yeah, so, yeah, just that one time where we managed to hit him with all 3 of those. He also catches fire and spirals out of control. I keep thinking of the Team 4-star line involving Vegeta. Why did I explode? Because that's it. Why are they exploding? And we get a goddess figure and an air purifier. The next giant monster of note is over top of Ixotaka. This is in Upper Sky, and this is the only monster in Upper Sky that I know of that we have to contend with. So everything else is, you know, discoveries that we found. I'm actually kind of surprised I did not run into this thing before when looking for discoveries, because I spent a lot of time in Upper Sky. This is the Rock. R-O-C, not R-O-C-K, or not the Wrestler, or anything like that. It is related to the Rock's Nest discovery that we found, the nest with the giant eggs. This bird is actually probably the hardest. So attacking him at this point in the game is still actually our best bet. Attacking him too much sooner, like when you first get access to Upper Sky, he will actually be a little bit of a threat. He's the biggest threat out of all of the giant monsters, simply because he has one physical attack that is ridiculously hard to reduce damage to. Because, like most other ship battle fights, like the Gigas or other ships, you could knock them off balance, or flank them and get in a blind spot to keep them from being able to use certain special attacks. This one, you don't really have that. He has a Scream ability, which he uses quite often on me here, and then he has a Grab ability, where he will just grab us with his giant talons and shake the ship like we are a martini mixer. It's fabulous. And that one, even now, does it will do about 4,000 to 6,000 points of damage, depending on if you were guarding or had Incrum. I'm pretty sure he does about 5,000. So still not a lot in the grand scheme of things, considering we have over 50,000 HP with the number of Captain Stripes that we have. But if he decides to spam it, it could be a bad couple of turns for you. Because as far as I know, there's nothing preventing him from using that on a green turn as opposed to a red or yellow turn. Because he may only use it on red turns. I don't let him live long enough to find out, and I'd rather not find out, really. So, yeah. So, like my previous ship battles, I spent the first round building up Spirit. This round, I'm going to just unleash everything I've got on him, and we still have enough Spirit next turn. We saw that we can do a Moonstone Cannon attack beginning of next turn. I've got more than enough Spirit for that left over with all the attacks I'm planning this round. So there's the Grab attack. He does do it on a red turn, so it may be a red turn only ability, so you don't have to worry too much about him spamming it, but I would still rather play it cautiously that he might be able to do it on yellow turns, but I doubt green turns, so it's not as spammable, depending on the prompts that you take for combat. So we missed with our first two attacks. We did hit him with the Weevil Cannon as a half of the second attack. Not doing as much damage to him as I would have really liked to at this point, but, you know, we do kind of hit him with everything. Almost one-shotting him. Again, if we had been Incrumed, that probably would have been the end of this fight. So, at this point in the game, not really a major threat, but... And we have two options here. We can either hold our position or we can take it head-on. Taking it head-on will give you the Moonstone Cannon prompt. If you hold position, he will not be in position in order to do that. And that is pretty much it. The Moonstone Cannon will do more than enough damage, and we are combining it with a secondary cannon, which I kind of find cool that you see the secondary cannon fire before the Moonstone Cannon fires. I would love to see the Delphinius just unleash an entire barrage. Unfortunately, we cannot unleash everything in a single turn, because we only have 4 people and we would have 5 weapons. So, very unfortunate about that. And with that, the rock spins into oblivion, also on fire. How are we lighting these creatures on fire? Especially since I've got a Wevel cannon. And the rock drops the wooden doll. The last giant ship battle, giant monster type thing, is DLC. And this is a giant looper. And this is found in what is affectionately known as Looper Land. So if you have found the Looper Nest Discovery, that section in between the White Stone Reef and there's something else blocking it that I don't remember at the moment. But it's a weird little triangle in the upper left corner of the map. So, if you know where the Looper's nest is, the giant looper is flying just a little bit north of that. Looperland is also a fun place to go to level up, because all you fight there are loopers. So you can get a ridiculous amount of magic XP and regular XP off the loopers, should they not run. So, there's actually been talk about which place is better to level, either off of the random loopers in Looperland, or off Elcian in the Dark Rift. This fight is annoying because, as you see, the looper actually is not... the ring is not a part of him. He just kind of hides in them. There are multiple rings. And on certain attacks, he will dodge the attack by dropping out of the ring down into deep sky and then coming straight up into another ring. So, you want to be careful about when and how you attack him. And the downside is, this looper, like every other looper, can and will run away if you do not kill him quick enough. Or if you do a little bit of damage off the bat. That's why, you see, I'm kind of holding my attacks. I don't want to scare him off. But according to the guides, this giant looper can and will run away. So be careful about that. My plan for this round is to stack all of my attacks on the all the attacks that I can on the Moonstone Cannon turn or prompt next round. So, as you see, I'm kind of very carefully putting things into place that I can. I will also be using Incrum, or Incrumus, this turn, so that I will have Incrum next turn for the Moonstone Cannon, because I want to be able to one-shot this looper so that he does not get the chance to run away. I'm actually taking a chance using the secondary cannon, because that will attack him 2 turns before the Moonstone Cannon, giving him a chance to run away. Personally, I kind of wanted to see him run a little bit, just to see a giant monster retreat in battle. That's something we have not seen yet, and I thought that would have been cool to see on camera, but he didn't run. And as far as I can tell, all of the giant monsters, once they have been defeated, they don't respawn. So once you defeat them, that's it. This being DLC will actually give you an extra Captain Stripe as well, and I don't know if I'm missing a Captain Stripe, or I haven't used one somewhere, or what the deal is, but most of the guides that I've seen, I am about a Captain Stripe down, HP-wise, on the Delphinius. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Kind of hard to say. But as you can see, the 5-inch cannon that I tried using was lost because the looper ducked down before reappearing in one of the other rings. There he is. Just kind of comes up. And yeah. And I'm actually going to... I I could have had Vice do a fair bit of attacks there. I'm kind of surprised I didn't have him just stack another cannon on that turn. But we still end up doing it anyway. I was just kind of surprised that Vice could do it. First hit does 89,000 or 8,900 points of damage. This Looper only has, I think, 10 to 15,000 hit points. I don't quite remember. He has considerably less than any of the other giant ship battles, or giant ship monster battles. I assume that's because he is a Looper and he has the rings to dodge. And we don't even get to the Moonstone. We just hit him, and that's the end of it. And he swirls away into nothing. And that's the end of it. That's all the giant monsters, and that's the end of this episode. So I will see you guys in the next installment, where we continue with the story. So till then, later everyone.